Hi guys, today we are doing a video where we sit down together, I answer your questions, and we just hang out. Thank you so much for sending me so many of them. I've divided them into two categories. The first one is Hurdy Gurdy and the second one is personal. By the way, if you are interested in a full-on deep dive Hurdy Gurdy Q&A, we can do that anytime. But for now, let's start with the questions for today. Why did you choose to play the Hurdy Gurdy and how did you learn to play it? I discovered the Hurdy Gurdy back in 2011 when I started listening to Eluveitie, and I've been just fascinated with the sound of it. So I decided I want to play it, and I was learning it at home by playing Eluveitie songs. Many years of musical education that I had prior to that helped me massively. So this leads me to the next question. Was the Hurdy Gurdy your first instrument, or do you have a wider background in music? How long have you been playing the Hurdy Gurdy? Hurdy Gurdy was not my first instrument. I've been playing a flute and a piano prior to that. I've been attending music school for 12 years in total. 2 years for piano and 10 years for classical flute, and I had the classical music theory there, history, ear training, all that stuff. I'm playing the Hurdy Gurdy now for 6 years, and I started when I was 20. What was your first Hurdy Gurdy and where did you get it? My first Hurdy Gurdy was this one, and I ordered it from a Polish luthier, Jan Malisz, and we are not relatives. How did you become a musician? So, I started playing music as a child, finished musical education when I was 19, started playing the Hurdy Gurdy, played it for 2 years, and I was uploading covers to YouTube in the same time, and then I ended up in Eluveitie, and here I am. How did you join Eluveitie? Have you been on stage before joining them? Okay. After I finished the music school, so I was 19, 20, I started learning the Hurdy Gurdy. And my method to learn it was to just figure out and play as many Eluveitie tunes as possible. And 3 months into that, I started my YouTube channel, I started uploading videos, etc., etc. That was all in 2014. Now fast forward to 2016, I have like 10 videos maybe on my channel at that point, and I was always treating it as a hobby only, like nothing serious. So we are in 2016 now, and I woke up in the morning one day and I've seen a message on my Facebook fan page, and I will show you the message right now. So I read the message and I was like, wow, somebody is catfishing as Kriegel Glanzmann. Didn't think much about it, closed the message, went on with my day. On the same day in the afternoon, Eluveitie announced a split with Anna, Ivo and Merlin. I was very confused and upset because Eluveitie was my favorite band for many, many years. But when I saw this announcement, I started understanding that maybe this is not a joke, and maybe Kriegel really went through my videos because his band lost a Hurdy Gurdy player now, so he's looking for somebody else. I mustered up my best writing abilities and I replied to his message saying something like, if I can help you in any way, shape or form right now, please let me know. I can do anything. So we ended up exchanging a ton of emails and a few phone calls. And a month after that, I was on my way to the rehearsals and to our first show together. Before that, I was never on stage with a metal band, so my stage presence was questionable for a long time. But I was working on it ever since, so hopefully it's getting better. So yeah, this is the story of how I joined Eluveitie. What factors do you consider when choosing songs / riffs to cover? Are there certain things that are done on guitar that don't translate well to the Hurdy Gurdy and that you try to avoid? In my experience, the things that are translating well from the guitar to the Hurdy Gurdy are flowing melodies with a lot of notes, a lot of different notes, tremolos, and also sometimes tapping patterns. What is not working the best are note repetitions, and also like a lot of note repetitions in a row, or very fast arpeggios / sweep picking patterns. What do you think about distortion and heavy effects on the hurdy-gurdy? Love the slide in the last vid. Well, thank you so much. What do I think? I'm all about it. It is to be used with caution though, because it's pretty easy to over-process the sound of the hurdy-gurdy, and then it ends up sounding like a very, very old gay music. Hurdy-gurdy pricing and difference between cheap and expensive. Pricing goes from about $500 US. This is the cheapest and playable hurdy-gurdy that I've heard about. But it's safe to say that a cheap hurdy-gurdy will be about $1,000 to $1,200 US. And I'm aware that this is not cheap at all, but in the hurdy-gurdy world it is cheap, because the price can go up to like $20,000 and beyond that. The main differences between cheap and expensive hurdy-gurdy will be the sound, the quality of the wood, and the components like machine heads, strings, pickups, and so on. Also, electronics can be really expensive, so if you are looking for a high-end hurdy-gurdy with electronics, you will easily end up somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 or more. What advice would you give to someone who is just starting to learn the hurdy-gurdy? Well, if you are starting out and you have an instrument, then I would suggest to look for somebody who will explain the maintenance and the correct technique of playing to you. If you don't have an instrument, then research this topic really deeply. If the hurdy-gurdy you found costs below $1,000, be cautious. Stay away from eBay. And I think the place where you can do both of the things, like find experienced person and also do research on instruments, is a group on Facebook called Hurdy-Gurdy Community, where you can ask about anything, you can find resources, because many questions are already answered. So join a group and start there basically. How difficult it is to learn to play the hurdy-gurdy. I've always wanted to play one. I have a separate video about this and I will link it above so you can watch that. If you could collaborate with another YouTuber, who would you like it to be? Well, I'm not entirely sure because I don't watch that many musicians on YouTube, but I really like Taylor Davis, so for now this is the answer to this question. What is the most difficult thing to learn on the hurdy-gurdy for a beginner? The trumpet, period. When learning any song, do you just have to learn it by ear, or is there a secret gurdy tab website I don't know about? When I'm learning a new song, I'm using the guitar tabs from Ultimate Guitar. Otherwise, if you want to play Eluveitie songs, there's no tabs and no sheets, so you just have to figure it out by ear. How many hurdy-gurdys do you own? I currently own 2. A month is a really long time to wait for new videos of yours. Do you have a plan to make it weekly or bi-weekly? If not, what's the reason for that? So I'm working on being able to post, or being organized enough to post once per 2 weeks. Once a week would be perfection, but I think there is still a long time before this is possible. The reason for that is practicing and recording and mixing and editing a video takes a really long time. And I also work at Ancestore, which I will be talking about a little bit later in this video. So sometimes once per month is all I can do, but yeah, once per 2 weeks is the plan for now. And my goal is to be able to post once a week. Yeah. What is the best thing and the worst thing of the hurdy-gurdy for you? The best thing is the sound and the worst thing is maintenance. How was Instruments / Ancestore born? So for those of you who don't know, I run a hurdy-gurdy workshop together with my husband, and it's called Instruments. And we build hurdy-gurdys in there, and then we sell it in an online store which is called Ancestore. We've opened the workshop because I was getting a lot of questions about the Hurdy Gurdy and where to buy it and where to get an affordable Hurdy Gurdy. Affordable as in the question before. We thought that we should start looking into that, and we figured out a Hurdy Gurdy that is quite affordable and also quite advanced for the price. I think we are selling a model called Safona and we are selling Aplo, and you can find them in our store that will be linked somewhere or in the description. Any tattoos? Not so far, no plans either. What's your favorite meal of the day? Mine is breakfast. All of them. Love food. All of them. Do you play any video games? And are there any video game soundtracks that you really like? I don't play video games. I played some as a child, and that was Commander Keen. And also I played Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And I think the soundtrack of this game is really, really cool. And I also like the soundtrack from Witcher 3. But I think this is a quite unoriginal thing to say. Where do you see yourself if you did not discover the Hurdy Gurdy and did not join Eluveitie? I would be a freelancer working from home. I don't know what I could be doing, something like copywriting or social media management maybe. But I would definitely be working from home. I love home. I love staying home. So I would definitely work at home. Who are your favorite musicians/bands? It is hard to pick for me because I'm going through phases where I listen to a band for a few weeks and then I don't listen to the music at all. And then I listen to another band and it's like full-on obsession. So it's hard to pick one. But at this moment, I would say Bad Omens. I really love them and I have to listen to them at least once a day. Periphery, Alcest, Polyphia, and I've just finished a huge Lindsay Stirling phase. I like instrumental music in general. Do you listen to different folk music? Which one is your favorite? My favorite is definitely Celtic music. Another kind of art you ever wanted to try besides music? I always thought that being able to draw is extremely cool, and I also consider makeup a form of art, and I've been learning a lot about makeup recently, so that's it. Most challenging step in your career? Deciding to pursue music on a mental level. It was very challenging for me to make that decision. I've only made it this year, even though I've been working as a musician and quite successfully for the last 4 years. I think the awareness of how difficult the market is was making it hard for me. So I was not invested 100% in that, but I made up my mind and I decided now. How many languages do you speak? I speak Polish, English, and a little bit German. What advice can you give to young musicians? Well, that depends if you want to pursue music as your hobby or as your career. If it is as a hobby, I would advise you to play the music that you enjoy and also have a lot of patience with your learning process. If it's as a career, I would advise you exactly the same, and above that, get a job that will enable you to build your musical career, because you won't be making any money out of it in the beginning. You just have to invest a lot of money in it. I would suggest to think about it as if you were opening a company in a very saturated market. How do you imagine yourself in 5-6 years? Having a family, hopefully, and just living a peaceful life and playing the Hurdy Gurdy. You've experienced a lot of growth these past couple of years. What surprised you the most during? What surprised me the most during this time was that it was exactly like everybody said it would be. A long process that needs a lot of patience. I used to read a lot of books about productivity and this kind of stuff because I thought it would give me a kind of advantage in the process and that I would trick the system. But it doesn't work like this. The only way you can progress in your career and really trick the system is by doing what you want to be doing. If you want to be a musician, then practicing playing music and so on. So yeah, everybody has to figure out their own way of learning how to enjoy the process, and it is lame to say that, but this is just true. If you were creating a band, which musicians would you choose? A drummer, a bass player, and a harp player. Harp, amazing, love it. Would you ever make an online hurdy-gurdy course for people that don't have access to them in real life? It is on my future to-do list, but like future in a few years. What's your greatest accomplishment, something you will reflect on as you grow? I think it is my marriage. Best and worst things on tour. Best thing for me would be being able to see how many people are affected by our music. And worst thing is being away from home and missing it a lot. What has been the most gratifying experience since joining Eluveitie so far? It is all the cliche answers that we are expecting right now, so being able to see the world and playing on big stages, sometimes very big stages. But the thing that affected me most on the personal level was meeting Fabian, I think. She's awesome, and I'm really happy to be able to call her a friend. Plans for some kind of solo work, exploring hurdy-gurdy with other instruments, musicians. Sorry. Definitely yes. Definitely. There is some material in the making, and you'll hear about it more next year. So stay tuned. Are there any other instruments you would really like to learn? And what do you use to color your hair? It looks great, by the way. Thanks. What was the question? Instruments. I would love to learn how to play the harp because I just adore it. And my hair, well, first I bleached them to a kind of yellowish blonde color, and I'm using a conditioner to color them. It is a conditioner called Alchemic. I use the red one and the golden one, and then I mix them together to achieve this kind of rose gold color. And this is my hair after like 2 washings. It's kind of peachy, but I like it. I think it's cute. And that, my friends, was the last question. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!